Well, good morning, everybody. So this training is a training that we always do on a Monday for my brokerage. So just an FYI, this is not a Century 21 approved training. So sometimes Mitz and I can go on left field and right field depending on what's going on. Today we may end up in a different field if Moxie doesn't behave like it hasn't been this morning. So we'll see, but we'll see how MoxiEngage happens. So Mitz, are you ready to go?
Technically no, but yeah, I'm ready to go. Let's go. You can let me have
You
screen
got
share
it.
my fr- Okay. Here we go, guys. Well, good morning, everybody. Um, we're gonna give Bob a break this week because technically I'm always relying on Bob to do everything for me. So anyway, I've got Moxie Engage opened up right now, and it has been behaving really oddly today. So please bear with us and everything. But you guys all know how to get to Moxie Engage. You would normally go through the 21online.com and get onto the main page and sign in. Or if you'd like to go directly to Engage, you can go to oops, and oops. It's engage, .century21.com. And then that will take you to the shortcut directly to Engage. But I'm already in there, so that would be the portion that you would go to. Correct, Bob?
Yes.
Okay, just double checking. So one way or the other, that's the way to get there, either through 21 online or the other way. Actually, now that I'm here and I'm already signed in, I might as well show you guys the long route. So therefore, if you needed to go to present or any of the other, oh boy, it sure is slow today. You would go to the hamburger menu, which is on the top right-hand side of the 21 online site. You would go down to the productivity hub, which is located on this menu. Oops, used to be the second one. And these tools for Century 21 are all located in the productivity hub alphabetically. So if you needed some logos and stuff, you can go to the Brown Studio. But you go down to M for Moxie, and Moxie engages there. Also, you can click the little heart in the corner and it'll appear on the other side for your favorites. So I've got Moxie Engage in here somewhere. There it is. And there's Present and Brand Studio. So you guys can do that also depending on which tools you use the most. We'll go to Moxie. And this little strip appears at the top when you go to any of the Moxie products. And you can get to present, engage, the website, and your office directory if you like from there. That's if there's somebody I need to get in contact with really quick, I'll go to the directory and get their names. But you can click on engage, and it should take you to this first page that I was at right there. Okay, I'm going to switch to the agent mode. And this is normally where you start your day on this the Engage page. The dashboard is where we're at right now, which has all the different tools that you could be using. These are not in the correct order that when you first get on Engage, it's actually been moved around. But any one of these tools that you deem is more important, like let's say you want to have the calendar first, you can move the calendar to the top of the list and then it'll refresh and show you the tasks that you have at hand. Like today, we got the Moxie Hour with Bob. We've got a meet. Well, actually, that meeting we already had. I got to show a guy at 12. So if that's something that you want to have, you can have it reordered in that order. So I'm just wanting to show you how this little thing has it on the side. I usually have the sales flow on the top of my list. And what that shows you is the different containers or buckets of things that you got going in the flow of your sales. So if you should have more people, I should have more people in the marketing side, which are just people that are maybe getting different campaigns. Prospects are people that have actually reached out to me and needed some information, and I've got them on a drip or some other kind of campaign. The actives are the people that I'm actually showing properties to or have listed. And then once they go pending, they get moved into this last one. And after they've moved along here, they'll normally get put into your past sales or past listings, groups. So that's what the sales flow is to help you with. If you don't have enough going in here, you need to start working on things in here. If you don't have a lot of people in here, you want to go market more people there. And this is one of the problems that we're having this morning. Normally, you would click on this container and then you would see the 17 people coming up that you need to work with. And then you can go and knock off each one of those individuals, either by contacting them because you've got something on there. You can look at the tasks at hand, the conversations that you've had last. But unfortunately, that's not working right now. What it's doing is it's popping open this heading right here. And unfortunately, I can't show you that right now. So that's going to be one of the problems. Um, the other thing that I have is the stay in the flow, which is a really cool tool. The stay in the flow will take a list of your contacts and give you 5 contacts to make every day, or however many you choose to pick from. Anytime you see one of these things on the top, this cog, it allows you to manipulate the people that you want to reach out to in the stay in the flow. So what you can do is like on this one, you can reach out to him and send an email, ask him to join a neighborhood news or create one, or you can put him on a campaign. Those are the choices. But who you choose comes from this list up here. And we should all be maybe contacting our past sellers. So let's say I want to concentrate on them for today and take out everybody else. If you go ahead and move that up, it should update this information to just deal with the past sellers that you've been working with. So, and hopefully it will actually update. So it doesn't sound like okay, there you go. So these are all people that I've worked with in the past. And I think it was the past 90 days, I think is what I had on there. So those people will come up and then maybe we can have more recent conversations like, hey, how's your new house doing? Or if you sold their old house, do you miss your old house or anything like that? Just to keep conversations going and to stay top of mind. Anything you want to add, Bob?
Yeah, for me, when I look at stay in the flow, especially for brand new agents, I always, when I'm doing training with them, have them switch that out to go ahead and hit the cogwheel for me and
There we
have them
go.
switch it out to 30 days
Okay.
for their actives, new, personal. They're not going to have too many past buyers or clients, but
Hmm.
I would open up all of them for 30 days because with a brand new agent, whether they just closed one deal in the last couple months, they need to contact everybody that's in that database every 30 days to grow their business. Now, eventually,
Hmm.
once they get into, and then the reason why is because it creates a habit for them to consistently log into MoxiEngage twice a day, first thing in the morning,
Correct.
look in, see who your 5 people are, contact them. And then, most of you know that if somebody can stay on that routine for 30 days, it becomes a habit. So the idea is to help them come up with a proper schedule, an activity that they do every morning before they move on to any other task and get sidetracked. But with new agents, especially the first year or two, maybe, I would leave them all checked because they need to contact because it's easy for them to forget about a collaborator or forget about a past seller because they're working with too many buyers.
Hmm.
So for
Yeah,
new agents, I would leave them because after a while, once you get it to be an experienced spot and you got a system going, most agents already have a system for their past buyers and sellers. They have a different system that they use to stay in touch with them. But for a new agent, I would recommend just turn everything on because at the beginning, they're not even going to organize their leads. The leads are going to
hmm
sink in through their emails and phones, and they're not even going to understand how to categorize them. So leaving it all checked is great because they're not going to miss anybody.
Yep. Gotcha. Well, that's why we got Bob here. Keep us on task because I will babble. That's what Bob tells me all the time. And Bob shames me a lot, guys. So Okay, recent contact interaction. When you send out like the neighborhood news or people subscribe to it, this is how you can tell if they've opened it up. So these guys opened it up 15 days ago, 16 days ago. And usually when they do that, you want to kind of reach out to them and say, hey, was there something going on that, I noticed that you opened up an email 15 days ago. I should have contacted these guys earlier. Is there anything I can help you with? Is there something that's changed in the way they're searching? Like this person right here, actually, this is a different zip code to where we originally started looking. So they've either added another like neighborhood news or they've changed the one that they have there. And I think if you hit the refresh button, it just automatically refreshes to the latest, right, Bob? Or is that?
Yes.
I'm very reluctant to hit it because then it might just sit there. So. And the to-do list is very key. I actually have a Zoom meeting that I'm going to create with these buyers that I showed over the weekend, and they're ready to make an offer, but there's about 5 different families that are kind of entrusted with buying for the parents. So that's what we're going to be talking about. And these tasks, this to-do in my tasks, are just tasks in general. So if they're not really attached to a particular client, these transaction tasks, which I've been using the wrong way for a long time, actually applies to another section in Engage that's very important that actually Bob has really kind of raised the bar on. Unfortunately, I have like about, I don't know, about 3 or 4 years worth of undone assignments. So I would have to go here and check off all these things that I've created. So if you're using it the right way and you have all the settings made for, reaching out to your client, sending them a follow-up note, sending a thank you letter, that will appear in this section and will keep you very organized and on task, unless you're backed up like I am. So, but that's why I use the My Tasks pretty much right now, because otherwise I'd have to delete all those other items. And it'll show you the past tasks that you've completed and it will line through the ones that have been completed for you. So another thing to use in the to-dos right here on the side. If you had any active listings and where they lie, that would be in this next section. If you had some goals set for yourself, those will show you if you are up to par. And the last thing on here is the calendar, which is actually very useful. This calendar right here is just showing today's tasks and everything. But if you hit the view, which I hope will pop up because it had been lagging today, it will actually show you all the information uh, that's on there today and the following several days. And you can just kind of scroll through it. But it does mirror your Google Calendar. So it should be pretty accurate. If you make the task on your Google, oh, there it is. Great. I'm glad it actually popped up. So if you make a task on your Google Calendar, it will show up on your MoxiEngage calendar. If you create a task in the MoxiEngage calendar, it will show up on your normal Google Calendar. So Adam Lee has a house anniversary today. So I'm probably going to give him a call and just, hey, I don't know how many years ago, fourth house anniversary. So 4 years ago, I sold them a property and just wanted to remind them, hey, congratulations and whatnot. We have different tasks here. The Moxie Hour with Bob is on there. I've got a showing today, Arturo at 12:30. And then it shows the following items that are going to be coming up. A birthday for one of my clients, sales meeting on Wednesday, another house anniversary on Thursday. So I've got a lot of phone calls to make this week, but it will keep you on task. So let me move back to the dashboard. And then you can add and subtract things from the calendar based on, come on, load up, buddy. I think it was from the other view, where you can uncheck the different items that maybe you don't want to see all the birthdays, or maybe you don't want to see some other tasks. You can actually uncheck those things and it'll take it away from your calendar. Anything you want to add, Bob? I know we're just
Yeah,
kind of scooting by.
can you show them how to uncheck which events did I want to show on the calendar? Wrong button.
Sure.
To the right.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Both ways.
So any of these widgets that have the little cog on the side allows you to make these changes. I think from the preview under the view, there's also these same check
Yeah.
marks. But if you didn't want to have the anniversaries, well, I think you always have to have those transaction tasks or general tasks or whatever, you can undo those or add them back in. So I think you can do them for either side.
Yep.
Yeah, I think both of them will allow you to do it. So, alrighty. The next tab is the people tab, which is probably the one that's going to keep you the busiest. You can easily, let me move Bob over. You can easily add clients by just adding people. But if you go to the overview, it'll kind of give you an idea of more of what you can do with those clients. So let me see if that'll load up. Okay, good. That loaded up. So these people right here are the people that I've recently pulled up on MoxiEngage. This person right here is actually my ex-girlfriend, and she is the one that has a family member in Connecticut that asked me to look up some properties for her family. So I looked up her information, sent them the Moxie present and everything, and all the information is going to be siphoned through her particular contact until he and I, create the contracts to, the agencies and everything. And then I will create a contact with him and associate her with him. So here's those same buckets right here, those little, the folders that hold the different people that are going through the sales flow. And these are the recommended actions from Century 21 or from MoxiEngage. So this Nancy Rodriguez, she's got a birthday later this month. Maybe you should send her a Lupin tie. What is Lupin tie? It's like a little gifting website,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Yes. So you can do that. You can skip the tasks. And then what it also does is it has clients that are not designated into a group yet. So this one came through the leads engine. So what you would do, and this is what Bob was talking about earlier, is that you can take these clients and move them into different categories. Like I haven't really contacted this person too much. I think they probably created a neighborhood news. Yeah, actually, they have one neighborhood news here. So you would take them as a client, and you can maybe say they're usually buyers prospects. They're very rarely sellers prospects from the internet. I mean, they would normally contact you directly. So you would probably put them into the buyer's prospect, and they would go into the prospecting folder or bucket. Bob, do you want to elaborate on that a little bit, or?
No, you're good.
Okay. All right. So you can create, let's say if I was going to move this person into the buyer's prospect, I would just click on this and then they would go into the other bucket and I'd have another person in that particular drop. The other thing is the My People. So this one's a little more general. And I think Bob's going to talk about this particular view if it pops up in just a little second, because he's got a little bit of bonus information that he'd like to share with you guys. And it's not little, it's actually pretty insightful. I think it's pretty genius, but Bob says I get excited about everything. So, you know what I mean? I think it's a great idea. So, okay, these are my leads in general. Okay, so you can hit select all and you can send out, put them all in one campaign or something else. I don't really recommend that though. What you want to do is maybe filter the contacts out. And what you can do is you can like maybe pick out a zip code, let's say 93720, and you can filter those buyers or sellers that are associated with that. Okay, I must not have a whole lot of people in that zip code. So these people are the ones that are in that particular zip code. So there's a lot of different ways you can manipulate it. You can do it by the city. You can do like zip code. If you wrote in price range or anything, you can put that in there. What else is there, Bob?
On filtering.
Yeah, on filtering, there's a lot of different ways you can filter things out, right?
Well, the main thing, especially new agents need to do is they got to start creating groups to figure out, says,
Yes.
okay, if I used to work, let's say for a school district or a hospital, I want to create a group because I got potential past friends or co-workers that I used to work for. So the biggest thing is with, especially with new agents, like, okay, you got to figure out groups. You're gonna have family, you're gonna have friends, Then eventually you'll probably create a group for an investor, for VA, because maybe you have a lot of people that are military. You may even create a group just for law enforcement because maybe you have friends and family in law enforcement. So the biggest thing is categorizing these individuals out because every one of those categories is technically a niche market. Because most
There you
realtors
go.
always say, when I talk to brand new realtors, I want to just sell everything. I go, no, no, it doesn't work that way. You need to become a specialist. So when you start learning how to create the categories, you're basically separating your individuals into specific niche markets because they are seniors. They're in their own niche market. You got individuals that are first-time home buyers. They're totally separate. You got like law enforcement, first responders, veterans. All of those groups, you separate them out. So what happens is, as you're trying to do touch points, and as you're trying to send maybe marketing material, or maybe there's a brand new news coming out about a new loan program, then you know that, hey, I can send this information out to those specific individuals by selecting the group, send them on an email at once. That is the main thing on staying I mean, on the people part is just to get your leads, start with groups, and so as they start coming in, start adding them into groups and making sure that they're organized. So when it's time to ramp up or to send marketing material, you can send it to the right individuals instead of doing a blanket, which doesn't work, especially if it's
Mhm.
specific.
Very good. Very good. And as a matter of fact, so if you wanted to edit your groups, and there's two ways to make your groups. You can do it in MoxiEngage and then create a new group and start adding people into those groups. Ag buyers, buyers. I actually have our agents all in a different group. Contractors, cooperating agents are always cool because people that you've done business with, you can let them know about your latest listings. I have them separated out into friends and other things. These imported items here, we'll talk about that in a little bit. There's ways to import lists of clients or homeowners into Engage so that you can do a farming program. And what's cool about it is if, like, let's say you're doing this import was in 23, let's say, and I think it associated with a property I had listed. You can take all those listings back out. Let's say if that's like a farm that's dead for you, and it doesn't affect all your MoxiEngage, which is really kind of cool. So like it's I have a lot of people in my farm, and that's why there's so many people in there. So maybe I should probably slim it down a little bit so it won't be so difficult to continually farm like some of the areas that I stopped farming. So that's one way. And then in your Gmail, you can actually create like different groups here as well. So those groups will also show up in your MoxiEngage. So which will all be in the edit groups. I think I might have moved over a tab or something. But those will also show up in these this menu, okay? Which will make it a little easier for you to use. To add the people, it's pretty straightforward. You can import, like I was saying, like a CSV file, and well, maybe that's probably a 102 class, huh, Bob? Okay, so we'll probably go over that another time. Under the single contacts, though, it's pretty straightforward. The name, the person, phone numbers, emails. It's kind of nice to be able to put in like their social media information. Not that you're going to be Facebook stalking them or anything, but it's kind of nice when your clients, if they're having a birthday and you say, "Hey, happy birthday." It's another way to make a touch point with them. So if you can look up their information, I would probably put it in here. The dates would be like the date that you met them, or if they had an anniversary or birthday. Personal profile, you can add fields for like who were they associated with. I was gonna do one where I showed you who was the relative of my ex-girlfriend and fill in all that information, but they have very difficult names to spell, and I'd hate to enter it in incorrectly. So I'm probably gonna just do that later on when I got their full the spellings of their names and everything. They have a very ethnic names, so. And then you can also put in here, if it's a personal contact, past seller, past buyer, collaborator, and put that information in there. So
So
I am going to
question on
cancel
that
out
one
of
on,
there.
hey, Mitch, real
Sure.
quick. On
Go
the
ahead.
contacts,
Go ahead.
a lot of people will get confused on the collaborator. Like, okay, who
Okay.
is my collaborator? So collaborators, because people are going to be syncing through your email accounts as you get emails, etc. All of these people are going to be syncing into your profile. Collaborators are what I would say as maybe your loan officers, home inspectors, people that you collaborate in real estate business, put them into a collaborator because you're not going to market to them as a realtor, pass buyer, pass seller. You're not going to do that. So put them all into collaborator mode because that could be your, if you know somebody that came into your CRM that does notary, put them in there. Home inspector, pest control, people that are sinking in, put them all into collaborators because those are the ones you collaborate with on a real estate transaction. Personal to personal, personal is the individuals that you are not going to market to. You know they're going to call you if they are because that's your sister, brother, nephew, niece, or whoever they are. You put them in that category. The ones that are going to be potential buyers, you're gonna put them into a buyer mode, but not in this section. You put them in the section that Mitch showed you earlier when you go to category wizard.
Yeah. Well,
Sorry
I
about
was
that.
going to go over that next, possibly. So
Yeah, when you go into category wizard, that's where you would put them in there, but not into this part.
I see. Gotcha. Okay. So we're back in the, oh, actually, we want to be in my people. Hmm. And what Bob was talking about, the category wizard, is something that I would do while I'm sitting down watching football or something like that. It's a little bit, it takes a little bit of time, but it's actually very valuable in creating, the right division of people and who they represent, past sellers, past buyers, homeowners, people that are potential buyers, things like that. And gosh, I hope that loads.
Yeah, waiting for mine to load too.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is, man.
I don't
It's
know. It's hanging up. Hey, do me a favor, while we're waiting, top right-hand corner under your picture, there's an envelope,
sure,
basically to send an email.
sure.
Click on that one. Now in there, can you type
Okay.
in the name of a group that you have? And trying to see if they pop up because I know it's Mox has been running slow. Um,
There it is.
got it. Okay, because I was gonna mine for some reason it's not gonna load. So one of the things we're gonna get sidetracked a little bit is I had put in on the Century 21 Facebook group, put in Century 21 Global, I'm sorry, put in a post regarding doing a prompt that I put in to use to create 5 referral request templates. And I was thinking the other day, and then I was talking to Mitch. I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna share my screen real
Yeah.
quickly.
Let me stop sharing.
Okay. Um, desktop two. Yeah. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So I am gonna move a. I just lost you. There you are. You still see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna move you up here. So on Century 21 Facebook group, I put in a prompt. Clay Lehman had written it, and this is the prompt. So basically, what this prompt says, it says, act as a real estate marketing strategist with deep expertise in client relationship nurturing and referral generation. So you got to be very specific when we're talking about AI, and this will make sense in just a second. Trust me. You have to be very specific what you want the AI to act like and what their role is. You specialize in crafting tailored, time-sensitive outreach templates that balance warmth, value, and subtle call to action. Okay, and so it's on Century 21 Workplace Global. So if you go there, you'll find it. So I gave it a role and I told it what I need you to do. And then I said, okay, now I got to give it a task. Told it who it is. Your task is to create 5 distinct referral request message templates for past real estate clients. You can modify it to whoever you want. It could be to current first-time home buyers. Whatever you want to do, each tailored to a specific time frame. So we're telling it post-closing 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, and 2 years. So it's going to create 5 emails, okay? Each message should feel personal, authentic, offer something of value, tips, check-in, make it easy and natural for the client to refer a friend, family, blah, blah, blah. So what I did is we are drive. Let me go back and zoom out into my account. Prompt engineering. So on here, what we did is took the same one, same prompt, and I added one line. This line. So what it's going to do is when it creates this email for excuse me, when it creates five, and we're going to go through it because I was super excited. When it creates 5 emails, it's going to put this short code in. Some of you are like, what is he talking about? Trust me, it'll make sense. It'll automatically put that short code. It'll say, hello, and that short code instead of hello, Bob. You guys with me so far? So it's a short code. The
Mhm.
reason I did that, so if I took this, and if I copy it and I go into my favorite program, we're going to go into chat because everybody uses it. I'm just going to paste it and I'm going to hit enter. Absolutely. So what it's going to do, check in. See, it says hi, and it put the short code in right there. Right there. Here's month one, month three, and of course the prompt you tweak it, and so it starts to get generated the content you want. But every place it said hi and the client's first name. Select, hey, happy 1 year anniversary, and then it's got the client's name. I mean the short code. Okay, so it's giving you the subject and it's giving you the message. The subject we will not worry about that one, but I'm going to come back and to the first email. It says, just check in. How's the new place? If I copy this part right here, that's the email. And let's say we're going to create a link or whatever we want to do, but let's skip all that. What I'm looking at is creating content that I am, when Mitch hit that email box to email, in here you can type in a group. So let's say it's veterans or whatever group it is. For some reason, mine are not pulling up groups. So I'm going to put in my email address because it's for some reason it's pulling up my email address and hopefully it will right now, or it's acting a little funny. There it is. But typically it would pull up a group. And then what I would do is I would paste that email right in that little box. And of course and then I would write in the subject, bear with me. Now, when I told AI to include, um, no, that short code right there, and I said include the client's first name. All I did was edit that. I could have said include the client's first and last name and given it the short code for first name, and then right after it would have been the short code for the last name, which would have been, if I go here, last name.
Hmm.
That short code. So when you do that, and I could include that short code right here if I wanted and says, you know what, put it there and take this out. It's going to make sense in a minute right there and get rid of this. So that I had AI create an email that I'm going to send to let's say Bob's a group and I have a short code. So let's say you have 500 people. You're not going to send 500 people an email and then be able to send it to everybody and include their first name. So when I hit send on this email, it's going to send the email out. If I go in to my email box as soon as it comes in, yep, that's the one.
Nice.
Come on. Nope, not that one. Oh, hi, Bob. Not that one. Right here. So what it did is it put in Bob where the short code was. So what happens
That
is
is really cool.
you're telling the system when I send these emails out, that include first name. And so I use that in chat when I'm creating content. So if for some reason I'm using MoxiEngage to send emails out to groups, it wherever I put this, it'll automatically put the client's first name. So I didn't have to manually do it. Of course, the email's going to a particular person, but if it's written in a couple of paragraphs and you want to include the client's first name throughout, then you just add that code where you want that client's first name to show. Hopefully that makes.
Bob, you recording this, right?
Yes, why?
That's genius, man. It's way easier than using the whatchamacallit. Oh, why can't I think of the word right now?
Uh,
Um, anyway, that is genius. I really love that. I can't wait to start using that. Man.
So it's just something simple because whenever you're using AI to create content for you, especially if you read that there's a new VA loan program, etc., like, okay, I need to summarize this content. These are specific spots I need to put the client's first name. I'm going to add these short codes because then I'm going to paste that email in here. This system will automatically, wherever this short code is, will automatically put the client's first name. And even if I have 500 people in that group, all of them, those emails are going to go out and automatically put the client's first names everywhere it goes in. So it seems like it's personal, but you did it in one step, probably under 5 minutes to send an email to 500 people and it's personalized.
Man, that's genius.
I unmuted everybody, so does anybody have any questions?
No, I really love that, Bob, and I can see. Oh man, there's a lot of different ways that can be used.
Well, the
Man.
idea is if you're going to be using Moxie to send out mass emails to your
Hmm.
clients, then to personalize it is that's where you start putting in short codes. I mean, you could write the email out right here and just drop short codes as you go along. As you're writing the email, says, okay, let me make sure I put their first and last name in this spot.
Hmm.
Maybe there's a title because it's a Mr. or Mrs. And if
Hmm.
they have a company, it's going to go here. If their phone number, it's going to go here. But no, most agents don't have that much data on every client. They
Man,
at least
Bob,
have their first name.
I'm honest with you as the day is long, and I did not know that they had those things built into the email, honestly. So
The short codes?
yeah, I
Didn't
did
know
not
that
know
one?
that.
That's
Not at all.
basically how you merge them, and this is how you create a link, and this is how you add a
Hmm.
picture. So then you can
That's way
actually,
cool.
and then you got your email signature here at the bottom. So this will make it easy when you're taking content from here.
Hmm.
And if you wanted to add something or thank you for your time, Bob, you put that short code and it'll fill in everybody's first name as it sends those emails out. Shanna, do
That's
you have
really
any
cool.
questions? Or Daco, do you have any questions? You good? Okay. Debbie, do you have any questions? Because you usually call me after the training, so I figured I'd ask you now. I throw you under the bus. Nope, she doesn't.
Join the club.
I know. I know. I wish we could have gotten a little bit more into Engage, but as you can tell, it's having a little bit of an
Yeah,
issue.
mine's still spinning. So
Yeah. So, anybody have any questions on Engage or AI in general while we have a little bit of time? Nope. Shanna? Who else can I call on? Joy, Jody, Tom. Mr. Liddy's got his camera up so we don't see his face. Okay, there's nothing else in here. So I have what I started doing is
yeah, the unfortunately the cog wheel that allows you to set up all uh the sales marketing and all that kind of stuff. It wouldn't open for me this morning, so that's the part I think that you described very well.
so this link that I'm putting in the chat. So if you guys want to click on this link that's in chat and just save it, um, so that link will go to this folder that you see on your screen. And I created a folder on my Google Drive called Prompt Engineering. So what I've been doing is dropping in different prompts as I'm learning about them, adding them in there. So I have a place to save them. So that link that I sent you will allow you to access every single one of those. There's some links in here for brokers if somebody wants to look at it. agent onboarding training, etc. But the idea is like if I look at the compliance and risk audit, is to see how you're supposed to ask AI to act. So if you're looking for risk, real estate compliance or risk audit as a broker, look at the role it gave it. Act as a real estate compliance officer with extensive experience in brokerage operations and residential transaction audits. Then this machine will act as that role. And then, of course, you gave it a role. And then what are you asking it? You are tasked by creating a broker level compliance and risk audit checklist for residential real estate transaction. The checklist should serve as a practical tool for internal audits. And then you break this down. So that's a role based on that. Everything in ChatGPT is based on a role. You got to give AI a role. How do you want it to act? Just like um, a prompt to plan your week. It says you are an expert real estate productivity coach. So now AI is going to act like a productivity coach and it's going to start asking questions to you until it helps you create a schedule. Um, and especially if you're not busy, and it's going to start helping you organize your schedule. Actually, pretty cool. We did the request for referral, create a social media campaign for open houses. This one. Act as a seasoned real estate social media strategist. See a different role. Most of us would have went in and says, "Oh, can you create me 5 social media posts?" No, no, it doesn't know how to act. So this is what you do. So if you got somebody that's doing an open house, this is the prompt. This is how you want it to act. And it says you specialize in crafting engaging and high converting posts across platforms like Instagram, Facebook to drive events. Background. You are creating posts to promote an upcoming open house. So the agent, if you share it with them, and you're welcome to, the property is, you're going to fill in the brackets. That's the address. Features, bedrooms. You're going to fill in bathrooms. Standout features include, in here, you're going to start putting in this little bracket, right inside that or outside the bracket, take the bracket out. You're going to put in all the special features, etc. You're going to fill in the date, start time, end time, and it'll create your 5 social media posts, high engaging. Because you gave it a specific role on how to act. So we don't, when we create prompts and when we try to create content, I trust me, I know none of you get that specific, but that's how you have to do it. So I'm hoping that by putting everything in here, now somewhere along the line, you're going to see it's going to call a prompt chain like this one, prompt chain to prepare for tough conversations. So what happens is whenever you come across a prompt chain, you put in the first prompt, and then once you get the answer, you says, okay, now you're going to role play with me. After you've done the communication for preparing me, now the second prompt, it'll role play with you. The third prompt, it'll make ChatGPT act like a coach. So you put in the prompt, then you put in the prompt, and you put in the prompt one by one, and it's a chain. And it's going to take you from having the conversation to role playing, and it's actually going to debrief you and give you feedback on how you did
Very cool.
based on your feedback. So that's when you come across one of those, a prompt chain, you use a prompt in sequence. And it'll help ChatGPT understand what you're trying to ask. So hopefully that'll help most of you or any of you. Feel free. If you have lenders, there's one for lenders in there. I don't know why I put that one in there, but what the heck. So any questions?
No, that's
By
really
the way,
cool.
next time we guys meet, let me know how these things work out or if they work out. Janet, that's your homework.
Come up with the roles? Or, I mean, like, how do you know how to tell it who to be?
Well, you tell it who you want it to be by what you want it to create.
Where do you
So
find
if you're
the,
gonna, let's say you're creating marketing or email campaigns for people that are going through a divorce, then you gotta
okay,
tell ChatGPT you are probably the best litigation or divorce attorneys specializing in, and what are your clients' special needs? and they specialize in that. Or you're a probate attorney, and these are your specialties. You deal with this, 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 and this. And so now it's acting as that role because maybe you have an issue regarding a probate, or you need to market to individuals, attorneys that do probate that you could potentially get their business. So you got to give it a role. Says, okay, if I'm marketing to a specific person, who do I want to market as, or who do I want it to be? It'll create the very specific campaigns that you want it to do based on what you want it to do. Real, like on real estate lenders act as a social media strategist for real estate brokers. This is all act as a content strategist for marketing mortgage lending. So do you want it to be a creator, a strategist, or do you want it to be act as a business to business copywriter? That's when you start getting content that's like, wow, it's actually almost gave me what I wanted because I gave it the specific role and a specific task, a specific tone. I want you to be friendly. I don't want you to use high-end jargon. Keep it plain and simple. And then it'll start creating content based on how you told it to act and behave. And after a while, when you create content, you'll be able to just put it in, hit enter, and you're like, got it. And then you'll be sitting there, I don't know, eating chips and stuff for the next 40 minutes, trying to act busy.
Shanna, I kid you not. Bob had me do a few tasks, and the AI was so good that it made some suggestions along with the prompts that I asked it to make, and it has streamlined what I do very amazingly. I actually help out at a property management company, and when the leads come in, like I just wanted it to create a prompt so that I can have a logical feedback to the client, but it actually suggested that I use a certain program, which allowed me to pull up the prompt quickly, enter their name, the address, and then reply back by text. It was so amazing that, and I think it's because it's a team, like a team chat GPT, and Bob makes a lot of prompts, so it must think that I make a lot of prompts. So it made suggestions for me. And it's amazing what AI can do. It's a time saver,
I
amazing
am
time
trying to
saver.
see if I can. This is a
See, I
copy.
find myself like I find that I spend a lot of time just trying to make it understand what I want.
You're not listening to you, is it?
And then I get all frustrated and I'm like, forget it. Just
Like,
write
why
something
is this thing
else.
not listening to me? Guys, so stupid.
That
But I
makes
want
more
to put,
sense, I guess, to, tell it to speak as if it's the role that I'm trying to target.
yeah, I'm trying to move this one file into move. Okay, there should be another file that I just added. It's this one. It says copy of an AI. So this one is super neat.
Right. See,
And
I
I'm
did
saying,
that.
huh?
I've done that, but then like I said, then I felt like it just sounds like me. And so a lot of times I'm trying to figure out how do I don't want it to sound like me. I want it to sound like, something else. So
Right.
I
So
guess
for
it makes
your,
more
see,
sense.
you're in a different role like me because I don't sell. For a real estate agent, this is what they need. So what happens is, for those of you that haven't seen this particular prompt, what you have to do is you have to probably take about 30, 40 minutes, maybe longer, depending on if you're paying attention and you're filling it. So what you want to do is take this entire thing, save it as a copy, and then you're going to go through and fill in all the blanks. You're going to fill in your name, what your role is, what your business is, what your audience niche market is, who do you help, what offers do you have, what's your price points, what's your business model. You're going to work your way down, and then you're going to and do your Enneagram, your MBTI personality trait, your zone of genius trait, and you're going to do all of those. You're going to figure out if you're an introvert, not an introvert, are you a genius, not a genius, where do you fall in these three personality traits. Then you take all this information, once you filled in all the blanks in here, you copy this thing, add it into chat, and upload your three PDFs from each one of these personality traits. Your Enneagram, you fill in, you replace it here, what it is. What'll happen is, because you put so much information about your wants, your fears, your aspirations, your desires, your niche market, your clients, When you start now, can you create me content for this group or whatever you ask it, it'll create almost as you. Because you're teaching it to act like you. So when you create the content and post it, everybody else will think it's you creating the content, not an AI machine. It's phenomenal. I'm telling you guys. But you have to do the work. You have to fill in.
The personality exams were kind of fun. I actually liked that.
Yeah, it
Enjoyed
makes
it.
you like, what? I'm an introvert, right, Mitch?
Sure.
But it is well worth the exercise to do this because then you'll be surprised the type of content you come out because you're going to create the content to market yourself, which this is perfect for. Me, it's different because I got realtors I got to help. So I don't usually do this on my own and create content for agents. But the agents that actually take the time, you'll be surprised and give it a try and let us know how it works. Okay,
Yeah.
no other questions? Shanna, thank you for your feedback. Okay, well, we're going to end this training. I'll have this training on our Facebook.
Hang on, Bob. Can you email me those links?
Why, you didn't click on the link?
No, I didn't. Where were those? Sorry, I was out of the room for a second.
It's in the chat.
Okay.
If you don't get out of chat, you're not getting it, even if you're in my office. Sorry.
Ha. Thanks.
You're welcome. Did you get it?
I'm looking now. I lost where chat. Okay, I found chat.
Got it?
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. See? Not only everybody on Zoom, it's even my own agents. It's okay. Okay, well, you guys have an amazing day, and then we'll see you again next week. Hey, Shanna, by the way, real quick, and Daco, are you guys going to be at Elevate 21? No? No? Okay, just curious. Mitch and I will be there, so I was kind of curious to see who else is going to be there. So you guys have a great day. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Bob.